Franklin Parish.
But I was a rodeo cowboy for a long time. I rode bucking horses for a very long time, and to me, this is almost like competing, and I love it. It gets in your blood, and you just want to make it happen. And like I said before, last thing I want is for these guys to have to wait on me.
As you saw in that story, most farmers that are planting soybeans this year are in the field now planting those. According to that same crop progress report, only 16% of expected soybean acres have been planted so far. And Avery, one of the things that, these guys are not at all out of the woods yet. There's if the trends continue and soybean acres continue to climb, I think they were at about 1.3 million acres last year in Louisiana. If that continues to climb up a little bit, there's a lot of acres left to be planted in buckshot, and all those guys in that industry that supply our farmers with the seed and the fertilizer and the chemicals, they've got a lot of work left ahead of them this spring and this early summer. And the weather's not really helping, because I know that we've got rains coming tomorrow, which will be Thursday. Last Thursday was a complete and utter wash. How are folks like your dad dealing with that? They're dealing with it just like everybody else. They're getting as much as they can done, in the 24, 36, 48 hours they have. And then they just, they bust it until they can't, and then they just sit there and wait for it to dry out. And honestly, shooting this story was difficult because I wanted to get some farmers in the field, and I would call Mr. Buckshot and be like, hey, you got any guys? And we're all sitting still waiting. And, it was great for him to catch up and be able to get the fertilizer in the tanks at all the fields, but not so great for the farmers that need to be out there fertilizing. And it was interesting, but it's, I'm really thankful to be on this side of the industry this year. Well, I know, I hate to keep dragging your dad into it, but Scott Wiggers had posted a picture on his Facebook page where he was in the tractor driving down, and you could see the rows underwater. How bad is it over there on Backwater Farm? Well, that's something they deal with every year. In Backwater, I've told the story here on the show before, and it just, everybody along those waterways that, feed into the Ouachita, the Red River, they back up, and I think he said he's gotten about 10 inches of rain over the last few weeks, a couple weeks. Wow. So, it doesn't take long to start trickling its way into the fields, and it doesn't matter if it's, only a few 100 yards or 100 yards or so of water. It blocks the whole field because you can't get out of the end of the field. So it really slows things down. Well, I'm glad you did that story to show us exactly how many people it takes to get things planted. Thank you so much, Carl Wiggers. A farmer in Grant Parish visited a different field last week to do some important work off the farm, engage with the future generation of Louisiana's farmers and ranchers, and likely some bankers and doctors and lawyers and such. Grant Parish Farm Bureau President Ryan Yerby spent the morning at Grant Parish High School for its annual Ag Day. That's where he taught elementary students about the importance of cattle branding. The goal of his presentation was to bring the farm to the students.
A lot of these kids will never go to a farm. They'll never see a farm. They'll never see a cow up close. They'll never see a horse up close. They may never meet a farmer. So we try to bring the agriculture to them by doing things like ag in the classroom. If they can't go to it, we'll bring it to them and maybe get a little bit more interest, encourage them to pay attention more in school to agricultural programs like FFA, 4-H, things like that.
To learn about ag in the classroom, head over to our website at twilatv.org. The Ronald McDonald House in Monroe received a special donation this week. The Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation Women's Leadership Committee presented Georgia Street, the executive director, bags of food and toiletries. The charity also received a cash donation from other state Farm Bureau organizations, not just from Louisiana. It's part of the Our Food Link initiative. The donations to the Ronald McDonald House help bring attention to the fact that most Americans are now 3 generations removed from the farm and don't really know where their food and fiber come from.
It's our opportunity to give back what we do every year, growing the foods that we love to grow and raising the animals that we love for our food products, and helping to provide food to the home that gives parents with sick children peace of mind.
Farm Bureau is truly our family, and so it's like a family reunion, and it's a great day at the Ronald McDonald House, and we thank them so much for all of the effort that goes into this.
The Louisiana Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee also donated food and items to the Ronald McDonald House in New Orleans.
Union Parish is one of the most diverse agricultural areas in the state. From cattle to timber to watermelons and poultry, it's a hotbed for farmers. As TWILA's Tammy Arnder found out, the Union Museum of History and Art is honoring those who grow our food and fiber.
Well, she loves agriculture. She loves all things agriculture.
Van Bennett's daughter Velvet had a dream to showcase the importance of agriculture in Union Parish. So she did a lot of the legwork to get this exhibit called Agmazing together at the Union Museum of History and Art. Velvet passed away after a battle with cancer at the age of 43 in October of 2018.
My daughter Velvet that passed away, their place joined ours. And she loved the cattle and she did a lot of photography.
So this exhibit tells the story of how cotton was king in Union Parish in the 1800s. Then years later, how some farmers, like Bennett, switched from cotton to cattle.
I was raised on a cotton farm here in North Union Parish till I was 14 years old. And then we changed to cattle and hay because we couldn't compete with the Delta.
Union Parish has a thriving equine community, tree farmers, watermelon growers, and poultry. Lots of poultry. Renee Simon is the Louisiana Agricultural Finance Authority Director.
People don't realize, especially in South Louisiana where I'm from, how big the poultry industry is in Louisiana. It's a $2 billion a year industry.
Although chicken houses dot the landscape throughout Union Parish, so does beef cattle. And it was locally grown beef that was served at the farm-to-table or farm-to-fork, whichever you prefer, luncheon. It's all part of the dream of Velvet Bennett Roberts, to connect the community with agriculture, with a specific focus on the younger generation. That's why the local FFA chapters were invited to help out with the luncheon.
Agriculture is a key importance of Louisiana and basically the United States, because they have to have like agricultural foods to support anyone.
Velvet didn't get to see her dream come to fruition, the exhibit she and her sisters worked so hard to bring together. But her family knows she's sitting next to her great-grandfather, whose saddle she wanted on her casket, smiling that those in agriculture and those not are learning about this industry she cared so much about.
The Agmazing exhibit is at the Union Museum of History and Art through May 8th of this year. Still to come on TWILA, now that we're past the peak demand season for Louisiana crawfish, how much are you going to pay for them live and boiled? We'll find out in a few, but first, you know the saying about not performing with animals or children? Apparently Kristen Oaks White has not heard it because she's invited youngsters to her garden. Blooming on the Bayou is next.
Hey guys, welcome back to Blooming on the Bayou. Did you know that April is National Garden Month? And what better time to celebrate the most wonderful time of the year? One of the themes for National Garden Month is when kids garden, kids grow. So for this installment of Blooming on the Bayou, we're going to show you how you can safely get your kids into the garden for a fun learning experience. Gardening can offer children an opportunity to learn the life cycle process, as well as responsibility, independence, and environmental awareness. Introducing children to gardening is a great way to increase their awareness of where their food comes from and the importance of the environment in everyday life. Kids who garden also enjoy the physical activity in the outdoors and become more interested in eating the nutritious, fresh fruits and vegetables they grow. The simple act of digging a hole, raking soil, pulling giant weeds, and hauling buckets of water works various muscle groups in the body. In fact, health researchers in the United Kingdom found that with proper guidance, 30 minutes of gardening burned more calories than a 30-minute aerobics class. Now, when it comes to planning a garden day for you and your children, preparation is absolutely key to ensure that you and your kids enjoy the experience outside. To keep the garden experience positive and safe, there are a few safety guidelines which you should keep in mind before you head out into the yard with your kids. First, put away all of the large adult-sized gardening tools you normally use, especially any sharp items. Instead, invest in some kid-friendly gardening tools, including a pair of small-sized garden gloves. keep harmful pesticides and chemicals out of reach and out of the garden while children are present. Hats and sunscreen are a must to protect kids from the sun. Kid-friendly insect repellent is also a good idea this time of year. Also be prepared with a few snacks and water or Gatorade on hand. Now we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to enlist the help of some little hands to help us with our garden party adventure. Stay with us. Hey guys, welcome back to Blooming on the Bayou, and now it's time to get down and dirty with a few of my little garden helper friends. And these are a few of my friends' children. This is John Charles. John Charles, can you wave? You say hey? Hey! This is John Charles, and he's almost 3. And this is Allie. Allie, tell him how old you are.
5.
5. And this is my nephew, Brennan. Brennan, tell him how old you are.
7.
7. Okay.
About to be 8.
About to be 8. So what we've done today is we've done a lot of the planning ahead of time. We've plotted out where everything's gonna go. And so now I'm gonna get their help to plant just a few of the things that we're gonna plant for our garden today. When selecting plants to grow with children, it's important to incorporate plants that the children will enjoy growing the most.
What's that?
That's oregano.
Oregano.
Kids enjoy plants that have strong smells, grow quickly, and are easily recognizable. Plants that can be snacked on are also a big plus for kids. How many of y'all know what a squash is? You do? Well, let's get one ready to plant. Okay, so what's the first thing we're gonna do?
Dig a hole, and then we're gonna put fertilizer in there, and then we're gonna fill it up.
Brendan, you think you can help Allie and John Charles dig a hole? You wanna dig a little bit?
Yeah.
Dig right here. Oh yeah, that's so good. I think we still need a bigger one.
What's that?
Osmocote, and it's a slow release fertilizer. I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you some, Allie. There you go. These are like little magic beads. Okay, now put it in the hole. Put it in your hole. Very good, very good.
So we're gonna have to cover it back in.
Yeah, we're gonna put our squash on top of it. Give you one, Allie. You're gonna put one in your hole. Y'all know what plants need to live?
Water, sun, oxygen, air, and that's their food that they. It's kind of like the food they eat.
They need dirt, right? Okay, so we've got the dirt, we've got the fertilizer, we've got the air. Now let's water. So here, I can help you, Brenda, with this one. So let's water our little plants really good. Here. You think that's enough water? Or do they need a really good water? Really good water. So the last project I have is we're gonna plant a tomato that you guys can take home. And this is a little patio tomato, and it's gonna make some cherry tomatoes for you to grow, and it can be all John Charles's, and all Allie's, and all Brennan's. So we've got some good dirt. Need some dirt? I'll give you some fresh dirt. Here you go, Brennan. You put some in your pot. This one's ours, okay? So we'll take it out. Make sure he doesn't fall apart. There you go. There you go. So hold on to his neck right here. Squeeze the bottom like that. Kind of let loose. And now, there you go. Okay. We'll just take it all in there. Very good. got our tomato planted. You can take this home and don't forget to water it, okay? And hopefully y'all have some big, beautiful tomatoes that you can eat later in the summer. If you need any of the tips and tricks that we talked about for safety guidelines or help gardening with kids, we'll put a link to that on our website at twilatv.org. And I want y'all to know how much I thank you for all of the help y'all got. We planted some beautiful little flowers in here. So let's wave bye to everybody. Say bye. Bye. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Blooming on the bayou.
It's a spring weekend in Louisiana, which means more than likely it's festival time where you are. There are a whole lot of them going on, some big ones too, like Jazz Fest in New Orleans and Festival International, which is one of my favorites. There are a few small ones, but fun ones as well, like the Arklatex Ambassadors Barbecue Cook-Off in Shreveport, the Forest Fest in Winfield, and the Etouffee Festival in Arnaville. Wherever you're going, you may want some fresh Louisiana crawfish, and we can help you out there. If you headed to Jazz Fest this weekend in New Orleans, you may want to get your crawfish from My Crazy Uncle. No, seriously, that's the name of the place. My Crazy Uncle Seafood has them super cheap, $1.49 for live crawfish and $2.99 for boiled. The Festival International is in Lafayette this weekend, and we have a couple of farmers you can get your crawfish from, live crawfish. Kevin's Live Crawfish and Hank's Live Crawfish are both selling them for $1.75 a pound. You can find them on the Crawfish app, where you'll also find boiled crawfish at Guidry Seafood for $3.75 per pound. Finally, the Angola Prison Spring Rodeo is Sunday, and it's a good time to go out to nearby St. Francisville, and it's always a pretty place to visit and eat crawfish. The Feliciana Seafood Market has live crawfish for $3.39 a pound and boiled for $4.49 a pound. As always, call or look up your favorite vendors for price and availability. We want to thank the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, who reminds you to ask before you eat. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll have another great episode of TWILA. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.